This is my solution to use InstaComposer within Ableton natively, no additional plugins, nothing fancy. So out of the box, this is what you get with InstaComposer and Ableton. All the MIDI is coming in one channel, all kind of within the same octave range on a keyboard. So it's overlapping, it's a confusing mess. What we're going to do is separate each track in InstaComposer to its own 2-octave range on the keyboard. And when we do that, we can have a different track and a different VST or native Ableton device play the sound. So for my bass, I'm going to set it the lowest. For my riff, I'm going to set it to second lowest. I'll put my melody at highest. My pass is second highest. I'll leave my chords right where they were. And now look, everything's separated. The notes are all spread out across the keyboard. We're only hearing the chords on the chord track. And if I want to add some bass, I can do that. And it's using a different sound. All right. Put in the riff. Go ahead and we can add the pads and the melody. And now we've got 5 different tracks with 5 different sounds, all working in Ableton natively. And now we actually have some kind of idea that might be useful. And if we go take a look at each of the tracks, I'm just using wavetable. I'm restricting the MIDI notes to a specific range. Add a pitch device to pitch the sound up or down based on what's needed for that individual type of sound. You can see the chords right in the middle, no adjustment on the pitch. The pads, again, their own MIDI range. And then the melody, its own MIDI range and pitched down a little bit. Now we can add a MIDI track if we really want, and we can actually route the MIDI from any of the devices from the pre-effects in and record that MIDI directly to another track. All right. Looks pretty simple. Look at that. We're getting just the bass on this track. Now, of course, that's not the only way to do it in InstaComposer. You can also go to InstaComposer directly and just drag the MIDI from the bass track and put it on another MIDI track if you want to use it that way. And of course, if we go take a look, we'll see that the MIDI is basically the same between the recorded and the drag version. And at a high level, that's all that's being done. And if you know Ableton, you don't need to watch anything else. You can turn this off and you're done. Just remember, put each InstaComposer track on its own 2-octave range. And then you can go back to InstaComposer. You can use the solo and the mute if you want. Or you can just use the Ableton tracks. It's up to you. Whichever is easier to get an idea that you can then take and expand upon. Alright, that looks pretty simple. Now this is way better than what we heard when we first started. This is actually something that might spark some ideas. If you know Ableton, you're done. Go have fun. But if you want to stick around, we'll do it from scratch and we'll do a brand new idea from InstaComposer. I'll leave my routing the same. Let's go get rid of this MIDI track because we don't need that. Go to InstaComposer and we'll clear everything out so we can start from scratch. So let's go find a new chord progression. Let's how about this D minor? We'll go ahead and replace it. there you can see all of the defaults. I like to add sometimes an additional chord, so it's not just 4 straight. I add something a little different to add a little complexity, just kind of spice it up. We'll put I don't know, maybe a 9th here. Let's add a 9th, yeah. And then what we'll do is we'll go and we'll just click the go button and see what we get. Oh, I think before, I like to go and reduce the population down and the chord notes to just the chord to kind of not make it so busy, and doing it to the chord notes makes it a little easier to get something that makes sense. And of course we got our key set already. So let's go ahead and see what we get. I like to click it a few times till I see something that looks like it might be usable. So I usually get the bass and the melody. This looks good except for that rhythm, so let's redo that one. Alright, so now let's give it a shot, see what we got. Well, not the best, but might be something we could work with depending on what you're looking for. The issue I'm having here on this one though is my chords are not coming through the way I want, and it took me a while when I was recording this to figure it out. But the issue is, because I used a preset, I needed to reset my chords to their own octave range. Right now they're overlapping the pads a little bit, and you can kind of see me fiddling around here trying to figure out what the heck I did wrong. But eventually I will figure it out, and I will put the chords on their own track, and then we'll be back in shape. But the nice thing is we do have everything separated. There, I figured it out. Okay, so now we're back to where we need to be with our separation of each track in their own octave range. It sounds better, but yeah, I don't know, it's still not something that I really like as an idea. Yeah, I think this might be something we need to go find something else. Let's try another one. That's a little too busy. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's change the key. Alright, maybe this is getting better. Okay, alright, this. Already I can feel it. I like this. Yeah, this is something that we can use. So rather than just use only Ableton, let's go get some other VSTs. For this bass, let's look for something from Repo 1. So far, I don't see anything quickly that I like. And again, the goal here is not to have a final sound, but just to get to a point where we think this is something usable. Yeah, this Repro 1, just with this track, isn't doing it for me. Yeah, I think let's try something else. Let's go with Sublab instead. At least that's cutting through the mix a little better. Okay, yeah, I like that. I can use that. Let's turn it up just a little bit. find something for our chords. Let's do something different there. Let's Doom 3. I like Doom. Okay, alright, I like that. Little too much decay and release. But we can pull those back, see what happens. Alright. Okay, alright. Now, for our rhythm, we'll go get an arpeggiation. We'll use Hive 2 for that. It has some nice melodic loops. So we can see if we can find something that'll work with this. Oh, perfect. That fits right in. Oh, yeah, I like that. All right, now let's go see if we can do something with the melody from Wavetable. Oh, now wait a minute. That's fine the way it is. It has a nice little call and response field. So we'll just go put Diva on the pads and see what that does for us. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. That'll work. All right. And you can see the only thing going on here is restricting those MIDI notes for Diva. And if we needed to, we could pitch that sound up or down if it was too low or too high. And again, we can go back to InstaComposer. We can fiddle with our mutes and solos here if that's how we want to work with it instead of working directly in Ableton. Alright, let's get rid of those chords and pads. Just hear our rhythm. Yeah, that's a nice feel. I think what I'll do is drag out this MIDI and expand on it later. Flesh it out into a more complete track. Yeah, that's got a nice feel there. Oh yeah, that bass works good. Alright, bring it all back. Well, that's pretty much it. That's how I use InstaComposer to come up with some ideas, see if there's anything that is useful. And again, you can see all you do is on each track, group your device, control the MIDI input to a restricted range, throw on a pitch device, and if that helps you to pitch it up or down to improve the sound, you can do that. And I also, you can see I've grouped my InstaComposer tracks, and I save that as a preset with Ableton to make it faster to come back and start over again for something else. And that's it. And again, the other key in this is to open up InstaComposer and make sure that each track is in its own octave range. The -4, -2, +2, +4. All right. Hope this was useful, and you can get some use out of InstaComposer without any additional costs or plugins. All right. Take it easy.